it's so interesting because you start out, responding to the chimp as a lovely, cute, sort of precocious, smart creature, but then it reaches adolescence.
His own nature, exactly, and his nature is like us. It's one of the interesting aspects of the film for me, but these sort of intellectual ideas that kind of just kind of circling around it. And if you're thinking about nature and nurture, here we have a classic example of it. You're trying to nurture an intelligent, sentient creature away from his own instincts to be more like us, and it just doesn't work. His own nature is so powerful, and his own needs are so powerful. So when he gets to be about 5, he's physically very strong, and he's pursuing his own agenda, as any creature does, as we do. And so, yes, I think the paradox is kind of unsettling is that you can truly like somebody and also attack them. And that's probably true of abusive relationships in our human world too, I guess.
But if a creature bonds with human beings and then must figure out what it is later, there's no going back.
No, and I think also there's this sort of interesting analogy. The film is stuffed with animals, like cats and dogs.
That's
and
right.
donkeys.
That's
and
true.
I was pushing those in as much as I could into the film, and even Alsatians and poodles we brought into the film, because it felt to me that there is a kind of subtext about domestic animals and how we bred them over generations to be what they need to be around us. Chimpanzee is not a domestic animal. He's a wild animal.
No.
There's been no breeding to make him sweet and pleasant and agreeable and to work for us. That film Buck is interesting. It's about horses, and again, horses have been bred over generations to work for us.
And yet we still have, we think we have to beat them into submission.
Absolutely. And you bred them, and you have to, obviously train them and you condition them in certain ways, but we bred them to be trained and conditioned. And chimpanzee know it is what it is. And that, I think for me that was the great discovery of the film, is to just find out the true nature of another animal. And you see it, his behavior across his lifetime. And the fact that he has an emotional life that you can kind of recognize, identify, there's an overlap with us, makes it very heartbreaking because you can see his confusion.
And then the other issue was the sign language.
Indeed. I mean, we gave him sort of tools to communicate with us, but he did it in his own way. He wasn't going to come and start spouting long paragraphs for us. He has his own agenda, and you see it in the film. He uses signs to deceive, to lie to us, to deceive us, to manipulate us. He's got a read on, I mean, in a sense, even the professor's conclusions, saying he's a brilliant beggar, he fooled them all. They thought he was making sense. They thought he was, and so even if you agree with the professor...
It's about what we project onto creatures.
Absolutely.
It's how we anthropomorphize them.
Absolutely. And he had our number. And his read of us, I think, was as perceptive as our read of him, if not more so.
I liked the part where the woman was saying that he had a better grasp of the emotions of any situation than any of the humans did.
That's true. I mean, in the wild, they're really, they have very nuanced body
because
language.
they have to be able to survive.
Absolutely. It's all, like all of us, it's all survival, ultimately. And, chimps read each other in the wild very discreetly and very subtly. It's very complicated, and they can read. They know exactly what's important to us. If you have money like this, and you just sort of look at it, the chimp knows it's important to you, and he'll try and steal it from you. If you have a gun, he'll be frightened of the gun because the way he can read your language, he can see, that money's important to James Marsh. I want that. Well, that gun, James Marsh is handling that gun in a very kind of cautious way. I need to be wary of that. They have this amazing ability to read us on that level of body language.
And I actually think we're good. I mean, so what's left is to figure out. The audience response has been good. The critical response has been good.
The audience response has been very good. I mean,
and the next question is the theatrical.
Indeed. I mean, you can trust it when you hear conversations on buses about your film.
A lot of people are talking about it.
And it seemed. I mean, I think one of the reasons why I think there is the film has a vulnerability for some people, and it doesn't completely answer the questions it raises. But I'm not your man. I want to tell you a story, and I want to give you some ideas to think about. It's like I always think that if you cook someone a meal, you don't eat it for them. And it's not that I'm cooking you a meal, but that's an analogy I think is interesting. I want you to complete the film subjectively. I don't want to spoon feed you some soundbite morality. I don't believe in that.
It is a cautionary tale.
Definitely a cautionary tale.
I'm assuming you would like people to stay away from chimps.
Yes, I mean, there's no overt agenda here, but I do think that by seeing how, when you take an animal like that and put him in a cage and kind of control him, it's so transgressive. And the film opens with what I call the original sin, if you like, this act of transgression. You take any baby away from its mother, it's kind of
That's right.
fucked up.
They shoot a dart into the
Yeah,
cage and
just
steal
help
the
themselves.
child. Yeah.
So there are, I guess, ideas and morals and judgments that you can extract from it, but I don't particularly want to distill them for you into something that is cozy and comforting and easy to digest. I think we need to hopefully go away.
So are we also asking ourselves how much we've been bred away from our primate?
Well, I think so. I mean, one of the great alibis I now have about my sort of hedonistic instincts is that maybe they're hardwired. I can't help myself.
You're working pretty hard.
Yes, but I like altered states. I like as Bob puts it, pleasure seeking.
And your sympathies in the movie, if I'm not mistaken, do lie with the relatively, at least at the beginning, the relatively loosey-goosey kind of Stephanie
Here's
rearing.
the thing. I think
As opposed to the rigid
it's no more
scientists.
perverse to give a chimp a joint than it is to put him in a classroom and drill him with language like he's a schoolboy. They're both equally kind of odd, but I don't think I'm not sure which is more perverse or strange. I think I would say that putting a chimp in a classroom is stranger than giving him some medical marijuana, if you like, to calm him down a bit. So that's something, again, I've got something I can now use as an alibi, because I'm hardwired for hedonism, and all that entails.
Thank you.
Pleasure.